So if you just tinker around a little bit on ACC, or maybe you picked it up with the new launch of the console version, then maybe this video will help you out a little bit. If you're a hardcore driver and you're on the game a lot, and you know everything about the setups, maybe not so much. Before we get into the video, yes, you'll see oil stains and stuff. This is the mechanics shirt I put on when I work on the BMW. So I got an E92, and I've been cleaning out the actual carbon from the valves, so right into the engine. Pretty time-consuming job, and that I blew some of it out with my vacuum cleaner on reverse, and it went everywhere over the back of me. So pretty crazy. If you want to update on the car, actually, I'll make a video for that, and you can click this card up in the top corner and go and see a bit of the in real life car stuff and how it's going for me, because I really do love my cars, and that's why I went to the sim racing, probably the same as a lot of you guys. But back to the video, a lot of the cars in ACC just like to understeer so much, and one of them in particular is the Mclaren720. So one of the most fun cars to drive, I think. Very low to the ground, it feels very fast. I like the way it handles, although it will understeer heaps. And a lot of the cars will, even with the BMW, even with the GTR, I always find myself making adjustments to the anti-roll bars, making the back a little bit looser, and it will seem to want to turn around a bit more, especially under throttle, as well as turning down the traction and the ABS. ABS is up to you, how much that you stomp on the throttle and if you need the assistance there, but traction control in that game is too high off the baseline. It's just set way too high. If you crank that down, you won't be able to stomp on the throttle, but you shouldn't be doing that anyway. You have much more control of the car, and it's a much more enjoyable game because you don't want a robot car. You don't want a car that drives like a zombie. You can just put the throttle flat, it'll accelerate itself. You put the brake flat, coming in the brake. You know what I mean? Like, that's too. And even if you're on PlayStation or something, I believe you should turn that traction control down, and then you at least can get a bit sideways and back off on the throttle. It makes it a lot harder to drive, but a lot more fun. Whether or not it costs you a position in the race, doesn't matter. It's going to be so much more fun. So you've got to crank that traction control down, and you've got to make a couple adjustments with the anti-roll bars. I'll put this tune chart up. This is the most simplified way to go about it, and I always find myself referring to it. Really simple, goes through the entry, apex, and exit, little changes you can make in order to adjust the car to yourself, and eventually you'll get a really just good understanding of how to set the car up yourself, if not have already saved your own templates. So yeah, definitely follow this understeer, oversteer chart here. So just going off this, I'll make a few adjustments to it and remove some of that understeer, because I feel like, well, my style anyway, everyone's got their own little bit of style, but having to control a car that's wanting to slip under acceleration, it's coming out sideways, is not only more fun, but as long as it's not going to turn around on you completely, for me it feels like a faster way in the track. If you're coming into the corner and you're turning and you just feel the car washing away, it's just going forward still, heading towards the outside of the track, one, you miss the apex completely, and two, you're off the throttle for a long time trying to get the thing to turn around. So for me, oversteer is always king. It's always the one to go for. Oversteering is the best, and that's exactly how I think you should go about setting up. So I think that graph, if anyone's never seen one of them before, I'll try and put a link or something in the description where you can download that and use it for yourself. Super helpful in every game that you play, because all cars trying to be simulations are going to try and simulate what a real car will respond to. So there's that. And now that we've talked about the changes itself a little bit, I'll show you the difference. I'll do a couple laps with the baseline setup of the Mclaren720, and then I'll do the race and some other laps after a few changes based off this chart to make the car more oversteery, turn traction control down, or if not off completely. The only thing is, don't do that in the Merc, okay? The AMG Merc, that thing will just, it's got way too much power, it'll just spin around. That car, I needed to change a little bit differently than the rest, but the McLaren really, I feel like it's got a good amount of downforce, or however the car's baseline drives, it can handle not having as much support when it comes under the throttle. And let's jump into some races.
Oh, the backfiring from it. Right, did I ever tell you I had one of these come past me at 300? Remember? Ultimate the gold one?